All right, everyone, we are back and we are going to start to build our robot. So we're going to have our chassis. I have this little rubber washer, and then we're going to have our 1-inch little headers here, and then we're going to have our 1/4 screws here. So what we're going to do is pretty straightforward. We're going to fit this in this hole here. It has a little, basically, edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to, this can be a little finicky. I'm not sure how useful this video will be. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Every video is useful. So actually I'm going to go ahead and turn it over and just try to fit it in there. It's going to take some little getting used to, but that's going to give us a nice protection here. There we go. So fit that rubber in there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put these in, and we're going to put these in these two locations here and here. So along this front here. So that's going to be important for now. Don't stress too much. I mean, one of the fun things is that you can always just rebuild it anyways, or if you make mistakes, it's not a problem. So I'm going to, and for different configurations of our little robot too. There we go. And for different configurations of our robot, oops, I'm trying to find my, where did my piece go? Oh, it's right, see, it's right here. For different configurations of our robot, we're gonna have to disassemble it anyways. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna put this in here. I'm just gonna put it right in here. I'm gonna put it through on this end. Okay. Just gonna screw it in. Oops. Okay, not a problem. So I'm just gonna put it through. Let's put it through here. Put it through the hole here. And then now we'll just go ahead and we'll set this in. And just screw it in. Again, nice and firm. You don't have to just crank it necessarily, but we want it to be pretty secure. So let's go ahead, set that up. We'll set this up. And then in the next step and portion of the video, we'll also remove essentially the servo motors too. Oops. One more time here. Setting it up here, set it through, good. Set through here. Probably be good to have some like needle nose tweezers, but I don't have those available to me. So there we go, first part completed. Should look something like this. Make sure, again, your orientation is correct. And so now, actually, we can probably go ahead and maybe even make this in the same video. So what we're going to do is we're going to now disconnect these guys from our circuit board. Right and left doesn't matter. We'll make sure we'll label it correctly a little bit later. So we are going to take off right now our little, basically the rotor there. The important thing here was we're going to need to save the screws as well. And then we'll go ahead and mark these. So we'll just go ahead and take off this. Oops, be careful. So we'll go ahead, take these off. And you just pull that off. So you just pull it off there. Keep these screws. The screws are important. So save our little rotors here. And again, just take them off. Very nice little tool here from Parallax. And voila, take that off. Rotate it off. And now we'll get some of the components for our next step here, which is going to be attaching the rotors to the bottom of the chassis as well as the board. So we'll come back in the next video. All right, we're back for the next step. So we're going to secure these motors into our chassis. We have 3/8 screws, washers, 8 of each respectively. So let's go ahead and let's get moving. So one of the first things is we want to kind of keep everything organized here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, and actually we're going to orient it like this. So be clear of the orientation here. And our right is going to be here, relative. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this out here. So actually we're going to do it the opposite way. We're going to go here. This is our right motor. And then we're going to have this here, our left motor. We're going to have the same orientation. But first, let's go ahead and lock in one. So we're going to have to put basically, and you can kind of see the screws here. We're going to just set each of these. I apologize if the video goes in and out, but it's a hard one to visualize. But it kind of shows you the steps still. So, but I want to make sure that I am still in the correct setup here. So I'm going to get one nail down, then I'm going to get the other one. It's probably best if you do this one servo motor at a time. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the previous video. So I'm going to set up my screw here. Let's set it up. Oops. And this is going to happen a lot. So I would say be ready, work on a surface where hopefully you don't lose them. Again, it's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot in this video. All right, got through here. I'm going to make sure just do this right now. Don't put any delay on it. It's important here that you don't tighten too much at the initial, because it's going to make it hard to basically set the other screws in. So let's get set here. And again, just take your time. Listen to some music. Once this is set up, it's going to be nice and easy to kind of work with everything else. You'll have to make adjustments, and you might have to. Let me see here. As I keep talking and messing this up, you'll have to get through this part. But once you do, you're going to be in good shape. When you make other adjustments, essentially to anything in your chassis, and again, you can change wheels. There's lots of cool things, and then again, in future instances, we're going to be making changes that you'll see here. Flip these out right now. And I'm actually going to go in. Actually, I've already messed up. And I thought so while I was doing this. I was like, why? I want the heads on the other side. So I want the heads through here. And I want the screws right here. Actually, sorry. Just putting them right here. Oops. I might have to do this off screen, but you get the picture. And you get the sense of what's going to go on here. There we go. Get them tight here. I'm going to just might as well put this bottom one through here. Again, it gets a little bit tight. These sections. Let me see here. But again, once we get them on, there we go. Once we get them on, we're good to go. And we could use our little tool here to tighten everything once we need to get through here. But we're just finger tight right now. That's a little off kilter, but I'll have to fix that later. So no concerns, no worries here. I'm just replacing this. And once I get this guy set up, I'm probably going to tighten it. And when I say probably, I mean definitely. So I'm going to definitely tighten it through. Just to make sure we have a screw here on the bottom. Bring this through here. probably put some video or some music on this video, but make it copy spray. So I don't want to do that. But I always figure it's hopefully helpful for you all to kind of see this and just to kind of confirm your own orientation. But again, that kind of initial setup, and you can kind of go back and just double check. Even if it's a little bit boring, you may just watch it on 2x speed. I'm always hesitant to make those decisions myself when I'm uploading the videos. Just because, who knows? There's lots of times when I want to, I'll see a YouTube where it's like, oh wait, I wanted to see more. How did they exactly do that? Especially when it's car related. There we go. All right, first one done, but I'm just gonna kind of now basically work through and get all these tightened up. Especially this one. It's given me issues previously. So just get it nice and, again, snug. Again, if you want, this is probably the best orientation for like really, really tight maneuvers, good smooth turns. So I may just give it one, even though honestly I don't think it's required per se. I'm just gonna give it one good tight snug. Snug it in there, because you're going to see we're also going to put batteries in here too, and that's going to be, once you do put it in here, it is going to be annoying to kind of come back in. So I will say, if you're looking to get it tight, and now's the time, and hopefully you don't make any big mistakes. But again, you're not going to hurt anything, you're just going to use some of your time, and that's completely fine. So we got one set up. And now I'll get the other one set up and save your time. And then we'll get you, actually, I'm just gonna go do it right now. We'll keep moving, it's okay. We're not, there's no limit. So let's go ahead. Let's put these through. Just move a little quicker. Make sure the orientation is still the same, so we're good. See, why couldn't have I done that on the first one? That's more like me. Just trying to get it right there. There we go. Let's get just 2 screws left. 2 screws, 2 washers. We haven't dropped, luckily we haven't dropped any parts either. Oh, we're moving on this one. There we go. Although, I'll jinx myself if you're one to believe in those things. Next video, oops. This is a tough part because, again, it's now you're kind of dealing with the inside. Probably should have done that one first, but if I can just get it on. There we go. Let's tighten these up. Actually, let's just be smart. Shut and kill. There we go. Good. This tightened up with our screwdriver in here. There we go. Let's go ahead and go through here. that up. Get this hooked up. Let's get this hooked up in here. Tighten it up. There we go. Locked in. There we go. Good. All right. So we got our motors in here. Now we are going to have to actually put in our battery pack. So the battery pack is a little bit tricky and we're going to need some more components. So we'll see that in the next part of the video. All right. So now we're going to put our battery pack in. So you need to undo the battery pack. So remove all the batteries from that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use these nylon screws, 3/8, and our 1-inch standoffs. So we're going to actually, let's pull these back a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of a snug fit. And by little bit, I mean a very snug fit. So we want to have this orientation where the power cord's coming back because things are going to get basically fed through here. So we're going to just push this in. And we're going to try to make sure we don't, again, mess this part up a little bit. So let's go ahead. Let's push this in. Ouch. I'm going to actually snug this. I'm going to have to pull this pretty tight here. So I want to snug it in, put it down, and we got it. Great. I didn't have to be too harsh on that. So you're going to see where the nylon threads are going to basically go through here. It's here and here. So you see those locations right through the holes. So that's going to be kind of important as we move through here. So those two holes, that's where we're going to put our nylon screw threads here. So again, I'm just going to put the nylon in here. I'm going to try to, this may take a little bit of, you're going to see it's a little bit off kilter. You're going to have to kind of jiggle it through. So here, I'm going to change my seat location. And unfortunately, yes. So I'm going to try to do it with my hand. There we go. I was able to get that through there. So you see it comes out on the other side right there. So I'm just going to try to push that as flat as I can. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. This side. Just get it right through. Try to move it through. Eek. I'm just going to knock this out. There we go. Oof. Again, we've been very fortunate today. So now I'm going to be very cautious. I'm going to put my fingers on these as I screw these on the top. So just screw those there. Again, finger tight right now. We'll go back in and we'll screw those a little bit tighter there. So good, good. Again, this is another part where we probably don't want to have to go through it again. So hold here. And then just get them screwed. Always be careful with plastic screws because you don't want to basically strip those or break them. But there we go. So very quickly, we were able to get those on. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to also do at the same time is we're actually now going to put on the wheels. But first, let's go ahead. Well, actually, before we even put those powers through, we're going to go ahead. Actually, we can make it through here. Actually, we'll go ahead. So let's go ahead and attach the wheels. So the wheels are pretty straightforward. We have wheels, we have O-rings. So I'm just going to put I'm going to move this over here. I'm just put the O-ring on the wheel. And there's lots of different mechanisms for locomotion. But just put it on the O-ring, just like so. And this is where, remember in the previous video, we said keep those black screws from our servo motors because we're going to reattach them right now. So you grab the wheel, you just pop it in right there. You see, actually, there's another side. So there's a threaded component. It's pretty straightforward to see. You can't put it there. So you just pop that on the white component of our servo motor, just flush. You'll hear pop and click, and then you just get your screw. We're going to put it right in the center there. And then you just screw it in. And we're ready to roll. No pun intended, but still a pun. Still a pun nonetheless. And just screw it in tight, and you hear that screw from the servo motor. And same here. Pop it in. Boop. Get our screw, and now we'll get to moving. Screw this in. Screw it in tight, then and turn. Good. All right. Now we will also basically feed these through. It's important that, and actually what we're going to do, you want to kind of keep a reference for your motors. So what I'm going to do here, I have these cool stickers from Knotted Donuts in Korea. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to label our motors. So from this orientation, if you set it up this way, this is going to be my right motor. So my right motor, I'm just going to put my little sticker on here. So that's my sticker, that's my right. The other one will be on my left. I'm just going to thread it now through here. Pull it out the other side. And then the same thing over here. So let's just put these through. Thread it through our chassis and our hole. And you can make your own chassis with cool geometries. I mean, heck, with 3D printing nowadays too. So here we go. Or manufacturing it. So we've got our power, we've got our right, and then we've got our left, which is beautiful. So let's go ahead and let's keep moving, because we're doing very well. We also need basically to put, you see here, we also have a ball and a thread here, a thread component. So we have a pinball here, and it's going to fit through here, and we're going to thread our little needle here through it here. So let's go ahead and we'll do that. Actually, let's go ahead and see how we can get this moving forward here. Let's see. Let's go ahead. We need to basically run this through here. Run this through the hole. There we go. So we got it through the hole here. Fantastic. So now we can actually move and roll eventually. All right. So next part, we're going to set up our shield in our system. So we'll see you in the next part of the video. Thanks. Bye. All right. So to finish our initial build, so we need 4 more screws, basically of a 1/4 inch. And we need to take now our system that we had previously, this guy, and we need to detach it from here. So we're going to detach this. Now the orientation here is going to be very important because again, we want to make sure that we're kind of connected. So we want to face basically here, this is our front. Oops, let me put it in position. So we want at the front of this here, we want to put our power and this orientation along with the front here. A little bit counterintuitive, but you'll get the picture once we see it. So I'm going to line our threads over here. And now I'm just going to put in my screws. as such, I'm going to get my, try to find my screwdriver. So we can just put it in here. Actually, we can just put it in by hand here. Put the screwdriver in. Whoops, of course. We need to get a little bit taller here. Actually, so if you excuse me for a second, we're going to go a little bit high. So we're going to increase our size. Whoops. Actually, what we're going to do is this. My fancy camera setup, which involves... All right, let's go ahead. Let's see if we can focus in. There we go. So hopefully we all can see that now. So I'm just going to go ahead, put the screws in. Oops, sorry for hitting the system. So just going to go here. Oops. Just screwing them in. Nothing too crazy here. In this part, we're really reaching the end, but there is an important part that is coming up. So again, apologies for I keep trying to push on the camera. And by camera, I mean my cell phone. And by my special stand, I mean I'm stacking my glasses on top of one another. But again, this is the fun part. It's the fun part about YouTube, and it's the fun part about teaching. We don't need to make it perfect. We just need, whoops, to communicate the really, really, really important piece of information so that you can do fun stuff. All right, so we're all screwed in now. Now is an important part. And I'm going to actually see, hopefully I can zoom in a little bit more, and hopefully I can, let me focus in. Yep. So we need to now attach our left and right motors, and because this is going to be important for the rest of the commands. So on the 12 pin here, I am going to put my right motor. And remember, the white has to point basically towards the 12. So at the top. So I'm just going to slide it in there. That's my right motor. This is the other one that is not labeled is going to be my left motor. Still, I need to have it in that white orientation pointing to the top. And by the top, I mean like the 13 or the 12. So pointing towards the top of this orientation here. And good. And then I'm going to put my power in here so I can plug that in, as you can see here. Also, at this time, it's probably good to put in actually before you do that, you always want to be a little bit careful about your power though, because you don't want to burn out these batteries. So you want to like verify your Arduino code and then basically only plug it in when you're doing it. It also kind of keeps it safe for like when you're playing around with components that you're not gonna unintentionally run something. But it is good to test to make sure that we've done everything correctly. Yep, so you can see we can put the board in power mode here. So we're good to go. I'm just gonna unplug that. And there we go. You've built your first robot. Congratulations. So that's your robot. Now we're going to actually start to test our code and run our robot. So we'll see you there in the next video. Thanks. Bye.